Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to have you back here on USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the Mallorca Connection. And I would just want to welcome you wherever you are in the world, whatever platform you're on. We're really happy to have you. So please do follow and subscribe across the many platforms and the many destinations where we stream, including YouTube as well as Amazon Fire. And thank you to our distributors at E360 TV and Zizzle TV. Today's topic is thriving as a digital nomad in our 50s and beyond. So we're going to welcome the star of our show. His name is Mr. Roland Friedl. He has been here since years ago doing hundreds of episodes, and he is living a wireless life that apparently really rocks. He is a serial entrepreneur and entrepreneur. He's also someone who really values being in nature, and he's also someone who has been helping men be able to share their feelings and communicate more effectively. Let's welcome Mr. Roland Friedl to the program today. Hello, Roland. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone.
Thank you. Great to see you as well. What are you wearing there, by the way?
I'm wearing, actually, that's the piece to have. I'm a proud host on USA Global TV and Radio. Yeah, it's an amazing shirt. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, go to our website and see all this amazing merchandise products we have. I'm proud of this T-shirt. I actually have more than one. I love them.
Thank you so much. You know what, Roland? I just want to say something about the T-shirts. If you're a fan of USA Global TV and Radio, or if you've been a guest, you can go and buy merchandise over there on our spread shop. So we'll drop the link. But yesterday, an order came in from Australia for a couple of items, and we've had a couple orders from Africa, and of course from Canada and the UK and the States. And it just really warms my heart. It really does, just to think about how many places in the world people are watching us from. So thank you for repping our brand, and thank you for being a brand ambassador.
Yeah, that's great. And you know, Dr. Jacalyn, soon from the German-speaking countries, there will come orders because we're going to start German shows soon.
Absolutely. I'm excited as we continue to expand this platform and grow. So again, if you are a guest or if you're a fan, go and pick up some of our logo merchandise and take a photo of yourself with it. And we'd love to just hear your story about how you got started watching or listening to us. We're also on the podcast platform. So Roland, over to you. You are about to have a birthday. It's not a milestone birthday, but it's a birthday. And you've been traveling around, we figured out, for over 3 years now in your beautiful recreational vehicle. So you are living a totally wireless life, and you're able to really have a good relationship with technology, which many people can't say. They're afraid of it. So tell us a little bit about your background when you decided to go wireless.
Well, actually, you know, when I was a kid, you know, actually my journey started quite early, especially in my mindset. When I was five and a half, I had the chance with a neighbor to go to the seaside, to Italy. I'm born and raised in the middle of Austria, in the mountains. I never saw the sea before. So I was 1 week there in Italy, and I came back and I was flashed. I want to live on the seaside, along the seaside. So from that moment, I was very focused on one day I moved to the seaside. So with all my vacations, I always went to the seaside. As a student in school, actually never with my parents. I guess 2 times we have been camping in former Yugoslavia. Now it's part of Croatia, but never with my parents. I don't know why. It's quite interesting. But anyway, and so it was always a dream of mine. Then I went to university, and of course, I ended up in the corporate world. But I made a quite fast career, but I wasn't happy. And there came, this dream as a kid up. I want to live at the seaside. So I started businesses that enabled me to move my business to another country and live on the seaside. So I always wanted to open businesses that I can move over the border, custom free, for example, and do my business wherever it comes from. And then in the 90s, internet came up and all this technology and free calls via I don't know, WhatsApp, Zoom, whatever come up there. And I said, wow, that's my chance. Let's go there, and I can my dream is coming true. I can move wherever I want, and I can work from the most beautiful places in the world. And that's how the journey started.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you for that. And I just love the fact when people are able to embrace technology and realize that, obviously we don't have control over technology to the degree that we would like. For example, and this is kind of interesting. I was in some training for the Peace Ambassador training that I'm doing, and the moderator's Wi-Fi kept going out. And it's not the person's fault. The person can't do anything. But yet, even though we're in peace training, people were flipping out. And I thought it's interesting to just watch. We can't control technology, but you can control how you show up. And you're showing up without peace, flipping out. So I think if we want to become a digital nomad, that's one thing that we have to realize, that we have only so much control over things. And like anything in life, we have to use our skill sets, whether it's our breathing or our affirmations or our 6-second pauses, to embrace the uncomfortable, getting in the gray, which is, oh no, what are we going to do right now? We'll figure it out. We'll come up with a solution. It'll come back on, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, as a digital nomad, it's really something challenging that you have a good network. I mean, it happened to us too. Sometimes I had to cancel shows because there was absolutely no network, or so poor network that it didn't make any sense to broadcast. Sometimes it can happen, but to be honest, it's more organization. I mean, I feel challenged when I'm in a region I don't know. So I don't know, is the network working there or not? But sometimes, when I know the region, when I know the country, the area, I plan my travels that I can broadcast, or I can make a video conference, or even a video training or coaching with clients. So I try to blend my tours, of course. But sometimes, I'm in a region and a country I've been in the first time, and I have no idea if it's working. I have a feeling it might not work in the mountains where I am. But yeah, that's life. That's life.
Exactly. And sometimes when it comes to being a digital nomad, these technological challenges can test us to see how are we showing up. And again, as I just mentioned, I feel like it's a reflection of how we are in life. And sometimes we just have to set a boundary. And that boundary can be, okay, if the technology goes out, then this. And I remember from a high school class, I think it was computer science, which I really didn't like. It's so funny that my life is around technology now. But there was a computer science class, and I remember, if this, then that, sort of like a flow chart. So if this happens, then here are some possible alternatives. So when you are driving and you realize that you don't have access to Wi-Fi, then you calmly reach out to me and let me know I don't have access to Wi-Fi. And then I say, okay, thanks for letting me know, because it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do, because you are driving, and you are, it's not like you can drive 100 miles out of your way just to get Wi-Fi. You don't even know then if you get there, if you're going to have it.
But even when I've been living in Mallorca, and this beautiful house in Mallorca, sometimes the network was so poor in Spain. So even when you are settled down, it can happen. And for me, it was interesting, with my clients, when during the pandemic, when everyone went to home office, working remotely, and people, companies and their managers finally started to kind of accept, homework and video conferences like Zoom or Teams. Like that. The most asked question was always, "Can you see me? Can you hear me?" And this was part of my daily life. Check in first if everybody sees you and hears you. Yeah, and now it's very common. Yeah, even not for digital nomads, but for many managers that they're traveling around or do working from home or running international virtual teams. They have the same challenges like with digital nomad, that the network is good. Yeah, absolutely. And technique is working. Yeah, but we
Yeah.
learn, we grow and learn.
It's very true. And I just want to give another example, which it's not specifically being a digital nomad, but it's if then, this then, what then next? What's the next solution? So yesterday I was driving a ways to go to a site inspection, and I needed to put gasoline in my car. And I really should have done it before I left. But I looked at how many miles were left and how many miles I had to go. And I thought, well, I'm going to be into the low fuel, light coming on, but I've got to get there. And to me, the priority was getting there on time, or even a little bit late was better than stopping for gas and being even later. I went to church and it ran over, and you feel bad like walking out of a church service. So anyway, the point is, I didn't do what I should have done, which was I should have gotten gas first, because before the car, you can count on the car, you have to take care of the car, which means I put fuel in the car. So instead I made it to the event. And then when I was leaving, I thought, okay, I probably have about 10 miles left in the car.
Okay.
And there was a gas station about 4 miles away. But in order to get there, you had to go through a lot of pedestrian traffic, because there's a marketplace and a lot of people were shopping. And then, you might be sitting and running the air conditioner. And then, so I thought to myself, what is it why did I put myself in this situation? Why wasn't I prepared? And I think it's the same thing with technology, and I'll circle back. So frequently, the technology goes out in certain places in Africa, they have brownouts and blackouts. And so we have had technology issues for some reason on Thursdays. So I have a backup network, and then I've got a personal Wi-Fi, a personal hotspot. So I'm able to continue on, even if the Wi-Fi were to go out right now, I would be off the screen, but I would be able to come back on through one of these other methods. So I have a plan. So that's the point of what I'm trying to say, is that we can always have a plan, but set ourselves up for success. If you're in an area where they don't have Wi-Fi, you can't do a television show. It's just that simple.
Absolutely. I always have a backup. So in the different countries, I always buy two data cards for my provider, for my router. So always two different companies, hoping that one is working at least. But sometimes it's happening that none of them has a network in the area. So I'm thinking by the end of the year, so when I continue staying in my motorhome, I will go on another backup, an additional one, maybe on a satellite system. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, to me, that's what's called, being truly professional and being prepared. And I really like that. And even you're in a situation where you're always mobile. We have some people who are going on holiday, but they still want to do the show, or they've got to travel for business, and they actually have a small green screen that they have packed up, and they pin it to the wall and they're ready to go. And I know for myself, I've got a lot of travel coming up. So while I'm traveling, obviously I can't be broadcasting or producing, but I have a team of producers, so they'll take over for me. So you have to have a plan in place, especially as you're growing your business. It can't just be about you. It has to be the disaster recovery plans, and before it becomes a disaster. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's all about planning, especially as a digital nomad, you always have to plan. And it's not all about the network where you stay overnight and where you get food or where you find a gym or whatever. It's about planning, but a kind of planning with knowing that you also have to need a lot of flexibility. But mostly when you arrive somewhere, it's mostly different than you believe it is. But yeah, and that's what I love in this lifestyle. This flexibility, being on cool places, meeting people, and working for the most beautiful places in the world, and not just having vacation and enjoying. This, I love this combination: working a few hours, very focused on a project. I don't know, broadcasting, for example, like we do right now, or delivering an online training, or delivering an online coaching, or writing on a book of myself or something. I love this. I love this. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do too. I've shared with several people that I can't wait to get up in the morning so I can just start doing what I'm doing because it's really not work. And sometimes I find that I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing that the time goes by, say for a weekend, for example, and I almost don't feel like leaving to go work out or do anything. I have to actually force myself to stop because I think I'm so engrossed in this project and I love how it's going. And it could be anything. Like, for example, this retreat that's coming up, or I've got this European tour that I'm doing again. And we've got a number of classes that are coming up. And it's just so exciting. Or coming up with new designs for the merchandise on our store. It just, I don't know, it just really makes me smile. So I feel like you and I are in the same place in that we both love what we're doing.
Absolutely. It's when you love what you do, it's not stress. And and some people say, "What are you on vacation or are you only working?" I said, "What do you mean? I'm living. I don't care about vacation or working. I love what I'm doing. I'm when I make a break, I can walk on the beach or like here on is a river. So I don't think about flying out for a vacation because I wouldn't say my life is a vacation, but you know what I mean. I'm working and sometimes many hours, but it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like in my past like being in the corporate world, which I didn't like. I only went there for the money, and that's different. That's totally different. Of course, it has challenges, and of course, it needs a lot of discipline. Of course, it needs a lot of responsibility, self-responsibility. Of course, but that's the price you pay. But I love it, and I grow with that, and I know from many other people who live as a nomad, it's an enormous growing, and some people give up after half a year or a year. They find out they don't like it. That's okay too, but it's just an experience. I love it.
Yeah, and I love that you love it. That makes me really happy. I like when people are doing what really brings them joy. And somebody said to me not that long ago, can't you take a vacation? And I said, take a vacation. I'm living a vacation, really, if you think about it. Like, I couldn't imagine going somewhere and just doing nothing
Yeah.
for I couldn't do it. It's just not me. I couldn't sit like I think I have 4 televisions and I turn on one periodically to watch something on Netflix while I'm working because once in a while I'll look up. But other than that, I don't even turn the television on, even though we are a television network. It's funny. I will watch our shows or listen to our shows, but I'm not just going to take the day and sit and watch television. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming anyone, like we're saying that it's not my thing. I'm not doing it.
Me too. I never had a TV set at home, except when my kids have been small. I don't have one here in my RV. So the dealer said, "You're ordering a huge motor with no TV because normally there are 3 TV sets inside." No, not at all. No, not at all. But the thing is how we spend our times and really like and I strongly believe in it. That's always my message to people. If you celebrate the weekends and you don't like to get up on Mondays because you have a job, change your job immediately.
Mm.
Change your job immediately.
Absolutely. Something else, I remember when I was much younger, the Walkman was all the rave. And, you put these headphones in and you'd walk around. And I haven't worn headphones in, I don't even know how long. And you go to the gym and people have these giant things on. I like to be alone with my thoughts. Even when I'm driving, people say, do you listen to audiobooks? No. Sometimes I listen to music from the 70s, but basically I'm not listening to anything except focusing on what I'm doing, which is the driving and just being alone with my thoughts. And I find peace in that. I find peace even going for a walk. I've come up with some incredible ideas. That's how I started the Dr. Jacalyn, that name. And then also the coaching business was on a walk. And I get really good ideas, but I feel like if you have music in your ears, you're not going to be able to think as clearly. And I'm not really trying to escape from anything. I just want to enjoy where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I left yesterday at my friend's home in Düsseldorf at 9:45 a.m. and I arrived here at this place at 9:30 p.m.
Wow.
And I had a 1.5 hour break to meet Renee in between, a friend of us.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us driving. I didn't listen to radio, do a single song or something, just with my thoughts, and I enjoy it. I go through different stuff. I'm not worrying. I just go to my projects and what I can do. Sometimes I record something during the driving because I cannot write. Yeah, when I have an idea or something. But I just hang around with my thoughts. I look around in the landscape. Maybe I see something new that I didn't see before. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I learned more and more to be less distracted. Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's a lot of peace in that, I feel. So
Absolutely.
in teaching listening skills, and also as a peace ambassador, as I'm really learning so much more than I ever knew about peace. It's what true peace is. I'm finding that I enjoy the stillness and the quiet. And I shared this with you, I think, when we were in Vienna, but I am challenged when I'm in a group of people and everyone's talking at the same time. It's difficult to deal with. So I have to slip into my peace ambassador mode or my coaching mode instead of my mode as a human, because as a human, I don't like all of the noise and the over talking and the challenging of the comments. And I think, no, I don't really feel like teaching class right now. I just like to be at peace.
I fully understand. Same to me. I was wondering if it's because I'm becoming older. It's the age, but it's not the age. It's too much, it's too much noise, it's too much light, and it's too much for the brain. And I feel more comfortable being by myself. I love to meet people, of course. I remember 3 weeks ago, I was invited to a birthday party. So I went there. I was the surprise guest, and it was a lot of fun. And the lady was so happy that her husband invited me and stuff like that. It was amazing. And I was supposed to stay the whole night and have breakfast together. And, at 5 p.m. I left, and I said, I'm sorry, I have to go. It's beautiful. I love the food. The people are nice. The music is nice. It was, after 4 hours, it was just too much for me. Yeah. And I went to my
I can
motorhome and I
totally
drove in the
relate to that.
mountains.
Yeah, I found since I started swimming at an indoor pool, it's a lap pool, and they have certain hours. They actually have 3 pools next to each other, and then the ones for families or recreational, and then the other 2 were for swimming laps, and then I think the last one's for competing. And I've been really fortunate that when I've gotten into the lane, there was no one else there. Both times. The first time someone joined right as I was getting out. But I noticed the last time there was a father and I think 3 kids, and they were in the lap lane next to me. And the father, I guess, was teaching them how to swim, but he kept yelling at them. And the one kid, he was holding his head under the water, and the kid's kid. And I thought, okay, I don't know what is going on here. There's 2 lifeguards, and eventually they asked them to get out and go over to the other pool. But for probably 20 minutes, it was a lot of noise and splashing of the water. And I said to myself, I was starting to feel myself getting upset because it was so peaceful, and it's like a glass roof, and you can look up. And I said, you have to control your reaction to what's going on. So I said to myself, just use your breath and focus on your strokes. And then I didn't even realize they were gone until I was about to finish. And I looked and, they were over in the other pool. I guess so I think it's a matter of controlling ourselves, but also setting a boundary like you did, that you had, it was enough. You had to go.
Yeah, that's what I learned, and I was also people pleaser, and I was stood until the end, just no, I didn't embarrass somebody, but now I learned, set my boundaries, because, saying no to somebody else is a yes to me, and that's what I understood. But anyway, by the way, I brought some pictures so people get an idea about how it is, or different forms of working on the road. This is just, a picture on the beach, my computer, and I guess orange shoes. And I brought some pictures of different kinds of work I'm doing on the road. So it's not all digital at the time. So when you click the next picture, I guess it's a PDF, I thought. I don't know. Or can I move it? Yeah, I can move it, I guess. Yeah. So what I love to do is this is on sitting on my steps on my motorhome on my RV, and working on one of my books, and just have a nice view. That's my favorite position, is sitting on the steps with my computer on my legs and working there. That's a little bit crazy, but I love. And this was, by the way, in Portugal. This was in Portugal 3 years ago. yeah, this is my favorite chair when I sit outside when I'm working. This is somewhere in Italy, and here this is a book. It's called Success Journal, where I write down my daily small successes every day, and at this picture I'm reading them. So sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have times where I'm not in a good mood. It's not. I'm not 24/7 happy. That's impossible. So sometimes I'm in a bad mood for different reasons, for because of different triggers. And what I do is, besides controlling my breathing, inhaling, exhaling, coming down, relaxing, is when I really feel bad about myself, not about somebody else, about myself, I'm not good enough and stuff like that. So I take my journal and I read all my successes and all the years ago, and I said, oh, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bullshit. I had some successes, so keep going. So that's here in the picture. This
That's
is
a really nice one. Wow.
yeah. This is in Sicily. There's a bar, or what they call it, a chiringuito, or a bar directly on the beach. They have, by the way, excellent food, and sometimes I go there for a cappuccino, and you always a bottle of water, and I'm working there with a nice view, because sometimes I'm just getting out of my motorhome and find a nice spot and sit there and enjoy the view and work there. Yeah. That's in Sicily. This is Sicily. Well, a beautiful spot, a beautiful restaurant. So I guess I go back there. I was
That's
planning
nice.
to spend next winter in Morocco, in Africa, but I guess I think I go back to Sicily.
That's really nice.
Yeah, this is my RV from the backside in Allure. So this was my spot for 4 months in Sicily. I was standing 4 months on this spot, working there, and it was, I love the colors. And it's very dark, but I'm in the doorstep. And this picture was made by the owner of the camping site, because he asked me if he can make a picture and for his promo, for a catalog or something like that. And I said, yeah, of course you can do that. Besides working, for me, it's very, very important is working out. So sometimes I go for a day ticket for a gym, but most of the time I work out with my own stuff. And here it was a very simple place. A very, very simple place, but there are no excuses. Yeah, so I brought my TRX, and I could fix it somewhere, and I was working out with my TRX. I have some kettlebells, so there's always an option or an opportunity to do some workout in between. And for me, it's good I really love it. Besides walking my dog daily, I always mention I do around 10,000, 15,000 steps a day, is doing a daily workout for 20, 30 minutes. After and before stretching. So working out is important, also good. This is something before my time in my RV. I've been a digital nomad in Indonesia, traveling around Indonesia, and this was on a very small island. I guess it was one of the Nusas. I was one of the Nusa Islands. They're between Bali and Lombok. And I rented a small villa there, and this was a nice view down the rocks on the sea. And I was sitting there and working on my iPad at the time. Yeah. So this is traveling in Indonesia. This is also in Asia, on the pool area, just relaxing and still working on my Mac. So my Mac is always with me. And so I always find a spot to work, and sometimes a chilly one, and yeah, it's cozy, It's not about sitting on a desk or something, or in an office. You find cozy places and make a break and do a swim in the pool or in the sea, and enjoying a non-alcoholic cocktail or something, and then working. That's my working environment, my favorite one. This is back with my RV. Actually, this was last summer in Norway, in a national park, beautiful. And my laptop is open. I'm working on my network, but I was there for a week and I had no network at all. I remember I came to the spot, and you can go on you can stay there for free. There was this table there, this river, you can drink the water there. I was barbecuing there. I was hiking with my dog. And when I set up everything, and I parked there, and I said, okay, let's stay here for a week. And then I found out, oh, no network, even though the telephone didn't work, nothing. And I wanted to work online here, to do some research for my book. And I said, my God, what I'm doing now, driving and find a spot with a network, or and giving up this beautiful spot, or staying here and making the best out of it. And I decided I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here for a week. I will work. I will write on my book without researching. I do all the other stuff around, and I did also read a lot of books I had with me. So yeah, sometimes no network at all, but I was not willing to give up this spot. And by the way, in this week there was no client for online coaching, online training, so I decided, okay, I take a week off, and being offline. That was also cool working there. It was a beautiful spot in Norway. Um, yeah, and then sometimes what I do is, like here, is sometimes I rent a co-working space. So I was renting for a month an open office, not a closed office, an open office where I can sit there and have access 24/7. There's a printer, an amazing Wi-Fi, coffee for free, like until you get a heart attack, and also an amazing opportunity to communicate with other people, to socialize, to network. So sometimes it's also cool, renting a co-working space. I did this before my motorhome. So when I was traveling around the globe, working as a digital nomad, I was always renting out co-working spaces, especially in Asia. Do you have a lot of them where you have a combination of co-working space, office, and you can rent a room and a pool or something like that. Here, this space was just renting an open office, and I was camping, or I could camp. The owner allowed me to camp in the back in a beautiful space. So sometimes I go to co-working spaces, still with my motorhome, because sometimes, that Jacalyn, I need the feeling to go to an office, to get out of my motorhome, and this time it was working on my book, very focused. And I said, okay, I'm going to rent for 1 month a co-working space, and I have this office feeling. Yeah, I go there at 8 a.m. in the morning. Until lunchtime, I walk the dog, I eat a little bit, and then I go in the afternoon again until the evening. And for me, it was very good. I could work very, very focused there. It was a nice, and I guess I will do this year too.
You had
And this
a
is,
gentleman who owns a co-working space. Is quite beautiful. You had this person on. I forget his name. Was it Hans?
yes, yeah, Gernot. Yes, we had him on the show. We did it in German. And by the way, this was when we produced the show.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
So he has an amazing seminar room, and we put this setup in the seminar room, standing, with my how do you call it, my ring light and my camera and everything. Yeah, that's how we did. So yeah, sometimes co-working space is a good place. They're not expensive, to be honest, and I think the benefit is, besides having a task where you can work, you have a good network, you have a printer if you need. But what is also really cool is the socializing and the networking. And I remember I was working on my book on another project, and there was a young lady. She was a specialist in marketing and PR, and then I asked her, "Can you help me with this and that?" And it was really cool. Yeah, and then I also fly to clients. So this is, I don't know the airport, but I remember this March I was in Sicily, so I left my RV at the camping site. Lovely camping neighbors have been looking about Aloha, taking care about her for 6 days, and I flew out to Portugal to deliver training to people next door. So people came from I don't know, 150 people came from 60 countries. Yeah, from Jordan, from the US, from Canada, from all over the places. And I was part of a training team facilitating a training there. So sometimes I fly to clients, or I flew to Barcelona in May to run for a small group a leadership training in Barcelona. Or I've been driving with my motorhome end of June to a French company on the border to France, Switzerland, Germany, and I was facilitating a 3-day sales training. So sometimes I drive in my motorhome, sometimes I fly, depending on the distance. And it's, for me, it's nice when I can use my motorhome, because then Aloha comes with me to the seminar room. My dog, I don't have to leave the dog somewhere. So there are different options in working. Working in a motorhome, renting out a co-working space somewhere, open office or a closed one, Or sometimes, I see my clients, and I fly to them or I drive to them. So there are different options in depending on what job you're doing. So I'm in the consulting and the training coaching area. Or sometimes, I join as a speaker here in the middle on events. This was an 11-day, 3,000 people joining online event, and I was participating um, in different Zooms and also running my own courses online. So there are different options for working. And in this picture, what this is our opportunity planner. It's for me. It's why I show this picture is because when you live a digital, or when you work remotely, let's call it like as a digital nomad or analog nomad from home, or you're traveling or in an RV, or I don't know, maybe renting a house somewhere, or you're living in a hotel, whatever. For me, planning is very, very important because time flies. And when I see so many spots, it's of course you're sometimes you want to spend more time on the beach or do more sightseeing in beautiful places. So you have to be very disciplined, and that's why I have my opportunity planner. Besides all my digital gadgets like my computer or my smartphone or my iPad, I also have a written one, and I plan my week. So every Sunday I plan the next week, and this is very, very important for me to really, really be planned, disciplined, by all the flexibility and all the things that it can happen. But the days are running, the hours are running, the days are running, the week is running, and then you have nothing done because there's no boss looking over your shoulder and say, "Hey, Roland, have you done your job?" So planning is for me is very important. And then you meet amazing people, by the way. And I had the chance a few weeks ago to meet you, Dr. Jacalyn, in Vienna. It was really, 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 really cool. I hope we repeat it soon. And
Absolutely. I loved it. I had a great time in Vienna. It was absolutely magnificent, and you were the perfect host. And we did a lot of walking, and we had a lot of good conversations, and came to fruition with a new business opportunity to grow the business. So all in all, it was a 10 out of 10.
Thank you. Yeah, and I was just parking my motorhome on the camping site and in Vienna, and all good. And the last picture is, I mean, when the why is strong enough, you can make the how and the what. This is just in my motorhome, how I built up my studio, how it looks like right now at the moment. It's the same T-shirt when I prepared for the show. Yeah, so building up. So I close everything down. So when I make later on the ring light on, that the light is just coming in from front. I have my camera, I have my microphone, my computer, and
What's your
myself. And
computer
Alora is
sitting on? What is that called? That stand?
we call it a rack. I don't know how to call it in English. I bought it on this large online shop, and you can just put it together, and it's flat, and you can put it in different direction. Actually, it was a present of my girlfriend to use it in bed for having breakfast on it. But you can put on your
Oh,
computer on
yeah.
it. Yeah, you can put your computer on it, and it can different directions, and I love it. And then it's higher because before that I always had my computer to run the shows on a stable of books, and it was a little bit unstable on all those books. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's a great setup. Thank you for sharing that. And it's amazing how this has evolved over time. And I want to thank you for all the effort that you put into doing your shows, and how diligent you are in finding locations where you can broadcast from, as you are the true digital nomad. So thank you for all of that.
You're more welcome. I'm so happy. I'm actually really honored and proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family, and it's an amazing opportunity, to connect with people all the places, share a little bit of my wisdom and my experience, and it's just an amazing opportunity. And what you're doing here, and all the other colleagues that sharing their insight, what they learned in life in their different fields they are working and expert. So I always try to make it happen. I just love what I'm doing. So for me, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit challenging, but it's yeah, as I said, when the why is strong enough, the how and the what is not an issue.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I love that. We are out of time, my friend, as our next show is coming up. How can people reach you? And also, what if someone wants to have a TV show and they're interested in doing it in German or English? Can they reach out to you?
Yes. Okay. So if you want to connect with me, you want to learn a little bit more about this crazy guy, the best way is to go to my website. It's rolandfriedl.com. It's my website. From there, you can link to my business, the SBS website. When you run a corporation, you can go to WLR. That's my coaching website. Or you go for S4M. This is my men's site. Or you just send me an email at office@rolandfriedl.com. So whatever you're planning to do, you want to share with me. And if you're as crazy as me and say, hey, I have no experience. And guys, I had no experience. 4 years ago, when Dr. Jacalyn called me, I was shaking. I was never been a radio moderator or TV moderator. I remember I had my coffee here. I was nervous. At the time, I had another dog, Abayomi, an old one. He was snoring like crazy beside me. I said, hopefully you can't hear it on TV. So I was so nervous, and it went better and better. So if you want to get through this experience, personal growth, become a TV host, a moderator, share your wisdom, I highly, highly encourage you, get in contact with us. You can do it in English, in French, or like myself, you can do it also in German. So we're starting in September with the first German shows on different topics. So contact us. You're more than welcome. I will guide you through this. I will share all my experience with you. So even as a beginner, it's a lot of fun. You can share your experience. You can spread your message. Make your brand, your name, your products more popular. So don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Roland. I wish you peaceful travels, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you for having me. All the best. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you being here. Please do follow us on all of the social media channels and subscribe to our channels, USA Global TV and Radio, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck on YouTube, and also download us on Amazon Fire, USA Global TV and Radio. Thank you very much. We are going to say goodbye now as our next show is coming up, and it's Talking Heads, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.